Is this thing working? Howdy peeps. Yep. Hashtag Poe. Hey Chris. Hey Susie Q. Hey Funk. Hey Diddlin. Hey Mandy. How is everyone today? First of all, let's get this out of the child friendly. There we go. Not suitable for children. That's the easy way to solve that problem. So yes, I'm going to try and avoid talking anything about Copacabanas and anything like that. I appreciate you dropping in, Candy. If you got stuff to do it. I'm sure we got enough mods in here that we can survive an hour or so without the mod god. Hey Jesse, hey Brian, Jaded Aquatics. Oh no. We all need you, Candy. We don't necessarily always need your mod skills. You can take some time off occasionally. And I'd be kind of like Blackie. If I get a troll, I'm going to have fun with them. Hi Priscilla. Oh, yeah. Have a draw. I will too. Well, I will if the flag don't go out anyway. And I just thought of something. I wrote down some stuff to talk about, and I left it over there. Back in a moment. There we go. All right. Oh, so firstly, what's been going on in my fish room this week? Not a lot. Everyone's getting on fine. The male ram has gone in with the female ram. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but the Celestial Pearl Danios, what I think is a female, judging by the size of her belly, and one of the males were doing little circles around each other just above some of the plants. So I'm guessing that's probably breeding. So fingers crossed we might have some baby CPDs if the eggs don't get eaten by the rams or the babies. I'll look after you, Funk, don't worry. The two new Chopra Danios went into the tank that's just out of shot there. They're settling in fine. Butterfly cichlids are having a bit of an argument, as usual. Two boys, one girl, 15-gallon tank. They don't hurt each other, but they do kind of argue a bit. Everyone in there is doing just fine as far as I can tell. Ham and Cribby have grown their tails back from their last falling out. Shrimp tank, I do have some planaria in there, so I will do a live use of the trap that I've made, and we'll see how many planaria we can catch in a live stream. Oh, hey Bob. If I've not seen someone coming in, hi. I'm not ignoring anyone. The Platy Farm is doing what the Platy Farm normally does. Norman the better. If you saw the video I put up during the week, he's sitting in there. Hey D. And then the baby cribs are just eating and growing and doing all sorts of good things. So yeah, everything is going well inside. Hey Dennis, say a salad. How you doing? The pond. Sorry Bob, it's pitch black and foggy, so you can't see the pond. Yeah, have a good rest. But yeah, the 4 comets are doing absolutely fine. Big Frog, she's doing fine. Filter, the plants, everything's doing okay out there as far as I can tell. And everything else is doing just dandy at the moment. So I'm going to have to get up again because, you know, I see Mary on a Sunday, which means I'm late to get everything sorted out and ready for this. So I think my planaria trap is in the kitchen, strangely enough. So enjoy looking at the tank for a moment while I go grab that and some bait. He says. No, planaria trap is not in the kitchen. Is it perhaps in the pile with the rest of all the test tubes and stuff? Let's see. Not that I can see there. I'll go and have a double check. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, there it was. Hiding from me. How dare it? I'm a coming. There's going to be no one there when I get back. I just know it. Right, so planaria trap. What I have is API test tube with the lid on, which I drilled a small hole through and just inserted a piece of tubing out of a mechanical pencil. For bait, oh, I would do it in shot, wouldn't it? Just what in the UK we call minced beef or beef mince. I think ground beef in the States. And what we do is we pop that in the tank, fill it up with water and pop the lid on. Then if someone reminds me near the end of the stream, hey Alice, I'll pull it out and we'll see how many planaria we've caught. So excuse the bum shot. As we try not to knock the light directly over the back. Fill it up with water. And pop it in with the entrance to the trap down at the gravel or substrate or whatever you happen to have. Just make it nice and easy for planarians to crawl in. There we are. Get duckweed all over your hand. Oh, grab the towel. Dry my hand. Pop the lid back on. Move the cheapy light back into place. I can't do soup, Alice, but I can give you a hug. But if you're real, I'm not going to kiss you, I'm afraid. Oh, see you later, Brian. How fast? Depends how many planaria you got, Candy. When I had it in the Flexus, now I've got the Buckfly cichlids, Danios, etc. in it. Within probably about an hour, the test tube was full of planaria. Just take it out, dump out the meat and the planaria into a little dish, pour some bleach on them to kill them, and then they can go down the sink. Hackett. Oh, Dennis. Hackett's oxycurd. Yeah, everyone who speaks Scandinavian languages, feel free to laugh at that. Yeah, well, I'll say I'm not taking any credit for the trap. I heard how or saw how to make it on Mark Shrimp Tank's video, where he heard how to do it. I don't know, but it's probably one of those things that's been around for donkey's years, but it's a good thing to know. See, the thing is, I've watched a lot of football. And yes, that includes a lot of European football. So you hear the pronunciations of the players' names, which kind of gives you a rough idea of roughly how it should sound. Yes, I know, Priscilla, I do have a bit of a strange accent. It's basically the laziest parts of all the places I've lived. Actually, I'm going to say Hackett's or oxycurd, I'm guessing. But I'm taking the K-O with the line through and the D is pronounced curd or something similar. There we go. It also helps I have a friend who's Norwegian as well. There we go. See? Europeans, we yeah, I'm not that good, Alice. I'm just gonna. I'm guessing one is I and one is ah, or something similar to that. I learned French at school, so oh, yeah, you go get the funk off your butt cheeks. I'll try not to think about you all slippery and soapy funk. Right, so, and while everyone's here, if anyone would have links for either Candy or Pam's GoFundMe's, or Chris, pop your link up via calendars. Feel free to do the one for your website as well, if you're still here. It could be worse, Dennis. It could be me slopey, all soapy and slippery. That would be a pretty disturbing image. Hey, Pam. Right, now there was something a little more serious. There's the price differences of things either in the UK, Europe, and the States. Most noticeably, it's on the tanks. No, the dollar per gallon sale. I mean, our tanks are normally near at $1 or £1 a litre. I think most things like food, it's fairly similar prices. And no massive differences normally. Although, it all depends where it comes from. If it's made in the States, obviously it's going to be cheaper in the States for the States than it is in the UK or Europe. If it's made in the UK or Europe, it's going to be cheaper for us than it is just purely for the shipping. The other one I've noticed there are some quite significant changes on the price of fish as well. I mean, for example, crebensis around here, you can get them from as low as $4.95, and I think they're nearly $15–20 in the States. Or guppies, $2.95, and that covers all the guppies. Doesn't matter if it's a blue Moscow or a Hawaiian snakeskin, whatever. It's $2.95. It's a guppy, unless you go direct to a if you lost if Bob's here, or you can post your own link, Pam. I don't mind if I'm sure no one else here would mind if you posted your own link. It's the cookies for buddy link. That's what it is. It's not the help Pam link. It's the help buddy link. That's what it is. As buddy deserves. Yeah, this is it. Hi, Nala Jane. Yeah, so it seems there are quite serious price differences in things now. Whether that is just purely because of where things are made. Is it the Aquion tanks in the $1 per gallon sale? And I'm fairly reliably informed they're not that higher quality tank. So, are they on sale, or are they being sold for what they're actually worth? It's one of those things. I mean, the base price for a 15-gallon Fluval Flex in the UK is £150. So yeah, you're looking at £10 a gallon. But you got your lights, you got your filter, all that kind of stuff, and a name brand as well, which always makes things more expensive. Yeah, go on, Pam, post away. And I'm obviously feeling a bit better this week, so we're back on the proper drink. Oh, that's better. And no, that isn't a small can of Red Bull, Alice. That's a large can of Red Bull, a half-litre can. So yeah, it's just one of those things that has been. Oh yeah, I know the feeling, Bob. They update to improve things and just make things worse. I've yet to know an update for any computer program that has improved anything. It's just tends to be to make them more awkward to work. Yeah, so I mean that's something I've noticed, is the price differences. Whether that's because of, as I say, where things are made, or the economies of the different countries, or whatever reason, but it's something I have noticed. I mean, sort of anything now like a 75 or 120 gallon tank in the UK would be an absolute fortune. No, I mean, I'll say that is a 200 litre, which you've got 44, 45 gallon. Let's call it a 40 breeder just for easy purposes. But that's just the tank, I think, is about 250 quid. Sorry, pounds. Let's keep it in something easy for everyone to understand. So if I start talking in squids and octopuses, you're going to get confused. Yeah, I know the feeling, full moon. I hate it. Yeah, so now I'm guessing, Dennis, could that be Flugelhagen? Are they made in Germany? So the shipping is less than it would be maybe to the UK? I don't know. No, I mean, it's still got to come via lorry, but it hasn't got to come across the English Channel or through the Channel Tunnel. But yeah, I mean, that's generally what they are when they're kind of on sale. I think that's pretty much what I paid for both mine, supporting both in the sales. And the Roma 200 there was shop display model. So, yeah, never had water in it or anything. It was just the stand was built, it had all the stuff that came with it in it, and like a couple of bits of wood they put in there. So it was basically set up but dry. So, yeah, offered me a silly price for it, so I took it. Ah, well done, Mandy. She's found it. And then something else. Now, I had an idea for a video. You see so many, top 10 community fish, top 10 fish for a 10-gallon, top fish for blah blah blah, whatever. Now, obviously, I don't have the computer skills to do this, so anyone watching who has, feel free to steal the idea. Will be a top underrated fish. Now, fish that people just seem to forget about, that are actually gorgeous fish, easy to look after. Whatever reason that they're underrated. I mean, everyone here knows I love crebensis. Right, they're absolutely gorgeous to look at. They're really well behaved most of the time, except when they're breeding. Then they're just protecting their babies, which you can't blame any animal for protecting its offspring. No, so you've got platies, cribs. I'll say platies because Sunday dinner dishes. Oh, I remember that hell, Daniel. I remember that hell. It's a good reason for living on your own and not having kids. Yeah, I say, you love them. You don't think they're underrated, but gold white cloud. It's a beautiful little fish. It's easy to look after. It doesn't even need a heater. And yet people don't get them. Is it because they're not like special? Is it? I know. I think I know the thing with cribs is normally when you see them in a shop, they're completely washed out. They've got no color whatsoever. They're basically just a dull silver with a black stripe. I mean, for example, when I had the blue dwarf gourami in there, till they all either killed each other or got killed by the angelfish. When I bought those in the shop, there were a whole load of the blue ones in the tank and about 3 of the red ones. Now, the red ones were fully coloured up, but all the blue ones were just a dull silvery colour. Now, I knew from doing research that they would turn blue pretty much as soon as I got them home and they weren't stressed anymore. Yeah, exactly, Bob. I mean, I could probably put white cloud mountain minnows in my pond. I mean, I know it freezes over in the winter, but I'd probably still survive that. Six foot tank. I reckon you could easily get away with 100 in there, Dan. Mind you, they're going to breed, aren't they, with that many? If you got 50 or 60 in there, you're guaranteed that there's going to be some breeding going on. and you're pretty much guaranteed some of those babies are going to make it. Because even if you've got something in there that will eat the fry, it's not going to get all of them. Yeah. But hey, when your fish breed and you've got too many of them, that's when you can sell them back to a shop. If you've got a shop that will pay for them. If not, I mean, most shops will take things, especially smaller fish that are like that. Not live bearers. A lot of shops in the UK won't take live bearers at all. Probably because they have enough trouble selling off their stock as it is. But even if they won't give you money for them, they'll give you store credit, and you can at least then like get a tub of food or something. Get them dishes done, Daniel. You'll be there till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Mind you, you might still be there till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. This is why when I have a Sunday roast now, I have one that's not quite as nice, but it takes about 3.5 minutes in the microwave, and all I've got left to wash up is a fork at the end. And yes, I know microwave meals are nowhere near as nice, but I have no sense of smell, so my sense of taste isn't very good either. If you want to imagine how it is when you've got a really bad cold and you can't smell anything, that's my sense of taste at the best of times. Yeah, that's it, Mandy. I'll say that most of the shops will have an employee who keeps guppies, or they'll have the store manager or the owners will have a couple of guppy tanks at home. They're breeding their own. It's pure profit then, basically. So yeah, getting rid of live bearers can be really rather difficult. I got lucky because with my platies, they were the black and orange that you can see a few of trundling about in here. There's one. And when I took them to the shop, they didn't have any. But I took, was it 44 of them, 43, 44, something like that. And I got 5 for them. But that's 5 store credit. Yeah. So, which is why now with my platies and the guppies, I have something in each tank that will eat the fry. Yeah, otherwise you get inundated with them, and then you can't get rid of them, and you don't want to kill them. You know, you don't want to just like bash them over the head, or whatever way you decide to euthanize them, because you can't look after them, you can't get rid of them. So to me, guppy fry is basically live food. So it's pretty much the way I look at it. I have to. Heck, I'm having enough trouble with the crebensis. I had one brood of them, and I've got 80 of them still. They are growing, and I should be able to get rid of some fairly shortish. But yeah, and yeah, guppies are getting weak, as we were saying last week, and Dwayne was saying as well. The more that you breed them for certain qualities, the weaker you make the fish, the more chance there is of genetic defects. Again, back to dogs. How many times do you see a complete mongrel mutt dog with health issues? How many times do you see a pedigree dog with serious health issues? It's that thing. But yeah, uh, exactly, Mandy. You know, yeah, your turtle gets a tasty snack. Your other fish get a tasty snack. It's nature's way. So let's be honest. In the wild, a fish with a bent spine is not going to survive. You know, the reason guppies have so many babies, and most fish, to be honest, the reason they have so many babies, they're only expecting one or two to make it to adulthood. And then they have 100 babies because they only expect 1 or 2% to make it. It's um, imagine if humans were the same. You had 100 babies, 1 or 2 might make it. But if you then put them into an aquarium and you look after them really carefully and you make sure they're safe and they all survive, you get overrun real fast. As I say, it's probably not going to be more than a month or so, maybe. I'll be taking another 50 or 100 cherry shrimp down to the shop to sell. Purely because they just overpopulate so rapidly. But if you put anything in there that will keep the numbers down a little, it'll keep the numbers down totally. Mind you, saying that, I'm all right, Alice. Yeah, not ill anymore. Been a bit of a long day, but I'm good. I'll survive. Ooh, pardon me. Channeling my blackie. So yeah, if you've got any other, what you think are, I think now, Alice, given that the weather's changing, I'm just going to keep my winter coat. I can guarantee now, as soon as I get a haircut, the temperature will drop 10 degrees, it'll snow, it'll freeze, and you just have to put up with my excess fur for a bit longer, probably till about March. But yeah, if you've got any other fish that you can think of that are underrated, we can get a list together. And let's say someone with the talent to do some editing, Chris, could put a video together with underrated, the golden barbs, the white clouds, the platy, the crib. Axelrod, Danio. You see now, I'm not knowledgeable enough to know what that is. I'm guessing it's a Danio that was discovered by Herbert Axelrod. Yeah, again, I'm not smart enough to Google it on here while I'm doing the stream. I was shut the wrong thing down. Let's grab my tablet and do it that way, shall we? Axelrod's yeah, hi, lumpy dog. Yeah, female fancy guppies. Yeah, well, just female guppies because they're not as bright and colourful as their male counterparts. And now I'm underlit by this screen, so I look spooky. Okay, let's have a look for Axel Rod Bora. Oh, bless. Yeah, they are sweet little fishies. Maximum size less than. They are tiny, Alice. Even in most of my tanks, which are friendly, they would be considered lunch. But they'd probably go well in a shrimp tank. Fire mouths. I'd say the larger cichlids I'm not overly enamoured with. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like them. It's just for the tanks I like to have, they wouldn't fit in. But yeah, fire mouths are gorgeous. I mean, yeah, sad that your local fish store closed, but also bonus that you got a ton of lights cheap. And you got 2-inch fire mouth and 2 swordtails left. Bar hand or grinder. Yeah, they should get together fine. Last 3 saltwater fish. So you basically cleared them out. Endler guppies, yes, they do have stronger genetics, Dennis, simply because they haven't been interbred for 50 years. Thanks for turning up, full moon. Yeah, grandsons. Family is always more important than random strange English dude on the internet. Yeah, I've got to say, oh Bob, I do love watching a little epistogramma fry. I think it might be about time for those to come out and go into a. If mums stopped paying attention to them, I know your fish are friendly in there, but without the protection of mum, they could well become lunch. So it might be an idea to. Personally, I would move them out into another tank or grow out tub bucket, and then grow them on and see what you got. As you say, finding the females is pretty rare. So if you could breed some females, that would do a world of good. Yeah, I've got 4 male endlers in the platy farm, Dennis. I've got 6 of them basically a year ago now. Yeah, they're getting on. They're not as pretty as they're looking a bit rough around the edges, but yeah, they're strong as all hell. Because they still are basically wild fish. I mean, unless you go for one of the strains like the Santa Marias that Dan's Fish sells, that he's bred out himself. If you just go for standard Endler guppy, literally go to the cheap local pet shop and yeah, I know, Dennis. Yeah, I'm more a fish nerd that's enjoying some shrimp. Brought out a new tiny fry. Yeah, I'll say entirely up to you, Bob. But if they're being left alone, other than mum keeping them away from the new babies, you could well get overrun with them, which is always a nice problem to have. I mean, being overrun with epistogrammas would be awesome for a while until it really becomes a problem, especially as your local fish shop just shut down. Hopefully you got somewhere else. Either that or you can start selling them and sending them to friends. Yeah, as I say, I love epistos. Oh, I tell you what I've found, Mandy. I tend to find fish tend to breed when you don't want them to. All right, so when I bought new fish and put them into a tank, they generally breed almost straight away. So if you got somewhere you could Now, if you've got a spare tank, set up another tank, get it cycled, all that good stuff, and then plop a pair in a new tank with a cave, plants, all the things that a pistos like, because my pistos spawned in there first time, and then their offspring spawned in there. So I know they like soft water or softer water, a little bit warmer. Maybe even just a cooler water change might set them off, Mandy. So it tends to be what happens with me. I get new fish because, you know, so the water's not the issue. Welcome back, Candy. But yeah, so they're solid. I wouldn't say they're an underrated fish, because I think everyone knows that they're awesome fish, pistos. Although the ones with the smaller mouths, I think it's the cacatoides, have got the big mouths. Well, the males have. They can eat pretty much anything they want. But the ones with the smaller mouths would be good. Yeah, as I said, I mean, when I bought the cribs, because of the way things were working out, I had to put them into, because that was empty at the time. It was like, right, well, I've got them. I'll put them in there for now. Once they've had a week or two of just check their, quarantine, as it were, then they'll go in there. No, they bred in there. Yeah, it's always the same whenever I buy guppies as well. Buy them, supposedly virgin, put them in a quarantine tank. 2 days later, there's a bunch of baby guppies swimming around in there. It's I'm sure some of them are actually born pregnant. Or with the ability to get pregnant, let's put it that way. Well, Pam, I would have said the most important thing is to get them out before the end of the year. I've done that before, where it's got to like March or April, and I thought, I need a calendar. At least they're half price by then, but What else did I have on my list? And the last thing I have on my list, of stuff to randomly waffle about, is what do people do with their waste water? So when you do a water change, compare cacatoides red, 4 codes, 20 gallons. Yeah, it could just be time. Yeah, mollies, well, live bearers. They're probably trying to breed. They're probably trying to breed in utero. Yeah, it could be time. It could, they might not have decided to actually pair off. I mean, you pretty much tell if they have paired off. Yeah, so I'm personally, what I try and do, maybe not this time of year when everything's soaking wet anyway, and plants aren't really growing, is I try and put the water change water onto the garden to feed the fish or to feed the plants. We all know the nitrates and everything in that boosts plant growth. I try to put as little down the sink as possible, because in the UK we have to pay for it. You pay for it to come out of the tap, and then you pay for it to go down the down the drain. So if you can avoid putting it down the drain, it's a bonus. The other thing I was thinking was for people who have an RO unit or an RODI unit, could you rig it with a pump and pump your wastewater through the RO unit and clean it out? So you take out all the nitrates and everything, and then just reuse it and keep the circle going. But yeah, so well, the whole of the UK, I think now is on water meters. So you pay for everything that comes out of the tap, and you pay for everything that goes down the drain. It's different parts of the country are different. Norfolk being Norfolk, well, East Anglia generally is a lower rainfall area of the country, believe it or not. And because we've got a lot of arable farming land, so our water company, Anglian Water, is one of the best ones for not having big leaks everywhere. I mean, I'm not saying, yeah, you're going out, so every time you flush the loo, every time you empty the bath, every time you have a wash, every time you do the washing up, every time you run the washing machine, you're paying for the water coming in, and then you're paying for the water going out. I mean, it doesn't work out like stupid expensive. Don't get me wrong. It's separated and itemized on the bill how much of each you're using. And my water bill is around about £12 to £15 a month. So it's not extortionate. It's not expensive. It's nowhere near the electric bill. But so I mean, if I'm water changing, I worked out it's roughly 40 gallons a week. Now, if I'm paying to put an extra 40 gallons a week down the sink, when I could just pour it on the garden, I've got it in a bucket. It's no different. It's probably easy to just walk straight out the back door, which is literally 4 feet that way, and pour it on the garden. You could run it through, the membranes would clog up quicker. Yeah, it was just an idea I had, Dennis. So I mean, especially if you live somewhere where water shortages are common. Let's say, I don't know, you live in a desert, Arizona. Just off the top of my head, somewhere that's hot and dry. I would expect that water there, or California even, that water there would be a rarer resource, let's put it that way. So the less of it you use, the better. Now, I'm guessing an RO membrane probably would cost more to replace than the amount of water that you'd save. It was just an idea I had. And so I always pay attention to anything where anyone's asking you for money, you pay close attention to it. Because people have a tendency to try and sting you for more than you were expecting. And you go, why are you charging me this much? Oh, sorry about that. You'd be amazed how often the bill comes down. But yeah, it's I won't tell you what my electric bill is, but it's considerably more than my water bill. And no gas, so my only two utilities are electric and water. Obviously, with the older no sense of smell, it's not a good idea. Yeah. No sense of smell and smoking, it's not a good idea for me to have gas, a gas cooker, gas heating, anything like that, because if there's a gas leak, I can't smell it. And I'm going to light up a cigarette. And if I'm really lucky, I might lose my eyebrows. But yes, The last thing I want is to blow myself up again. Been there once, that weren't fun. Now, Surf and Turf. Hi, Hadley. How you doing, bud? You having fun? Oh, I would move. I would move the camera, but I'm guaranteed as soon as I move the camera, little Ginger will hide up. Shall we see if we can get her on camera? Because she is absolutely gorgeous, and I know Bob enjoys looking at the Danios, so let's have a look. See, maybe we can get a close up on something else as well. So watch this. Watch the screen, not what not where the camera is. So there we have one of the African butterfly cichlids. Random reflection. And that way, there we have. Let's see if it'll actually focus. Just under the rock is little Ginger, the longfin super red bristlenose, and then the chopray or glow light danios, as they're called in this country. Oh, have you just given up? I do apologise, but I'm old school. So yeah, there you go, Bob. That's why you can't see the pond. And down here, as I say, we have rams and CPDs. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. So yeah, those chopray danios just don't stop from dawn till dusk, Bob. They're just on the go all day, and absolutely awesome fish. Oh, let's try and not drop the camera on the floor. What are you doing? Ugh. No, just my normal curtains, Alice. I don't do Christmas. I figured it was easier to move the screen than to figure out how to sort out the doofer. Turf. Turf is grass, lawn, Alice. How many tanks? I have. I've got 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Turf, grass, like a lawn. When you cut a lawn up, the grass is a turf. Yeah, so I've got 6 display tanks and 1 grow out of. It's very similar. Yeah, so and the grow out tub is a 40-litre bucket, otherwise known as a plasterer's bath. And that's currently got the 80 cribensis fry in it. They're all doing rather well. Person is suffering on the grass. You've lost me, Alice. Although it's Sunday night, so it doesn't take much to lose me. Yeah, world famous food dish. Surf and turf. It's well, it's basically fish and meat, isn't it? So it can be prawns and beef, or cod and pork, or anything like that. Yeah, some kind of livestock from the sea and from the land. Shrimp and tortoise. It's not my favourite. I think probably my favourite would be. You can't go wrong with a shepherd's pie or a cottage pie. basically the same thing, just one's beef mince and the other is lamb mince. Well, yeah, the pond, but that's I do about as little looking after the pond as possible, Dan. Oh, had it there. Hey, Santa Tom. Lamb is for roasting. Oh dear. Yeah, I did used to live in Wales, so I've seen lamb roasted more than one way, which the Americans will probably not get. Yeah, so with the smoking, I don't drink anymore. I had to give up the alcohol. So I know how it feels if you've given something up and then people do it in front of you. I do apologise, but well, you got to speed in Wales. You got to get out of it. Geez, you don't want to be there any longer than you have to be. Best bit about Wales is the Severn Bridge. Yeah, I'll say it's the one that I still get is if you go to the pub with a bunch of people and you don't drink, so they go, what are you having? You go, I'll have a Coke, thanks. And the Coke comes back in a suspiciously small glass, and you have a sip, and it's either got vodka or Jack Daniels in it. You go, no, I wanted a Coke. That's only got a single in it. Yeah, I don't drink. You'll be all right. No, that's not the point. That's like going up to a recovered heroin addict and going, yeah, it's all right. It's only a little bit of heroin. You'll be okay. Oh, I'm really sorry, Priscilla. You know I love you, really. Yeah. Yeah, I replaced alcohol with caffeine. Let's be honest here. Um, my lady. That'll do, yeah. Yeah, that'll do, yeah. Dab. Oh, oh, yeah. Um, it will do you good in the long run, Priscilla. I mean, people might die in the meantime, but you know, at least you survive longer in jail. Hey, Melvin. But yeah, good luck to you, Priscilla. You got my full backing on that. Thank you, Nathan. Welcome aboard. Yeah, it is. It's yeah. I just don't bother avoiding. Well, yeah, you don't find many ladies in Manchester. Water is delicious. Yeah, well, I mean, there are other things you can drink. Virgin Guppy Coke. Yeah, there's always caffeine-free Diet Coke, Priscilla. If you want to drink brown fizzy water. uh, I have cold water out of the tap, Alice. I have a hot tap and a cold tap. And that cold tap, you sometimes have to leave it to warm up a bit because it can be blooming cold. I know you do, Priscilla, 101%. It's, I say, you say, what, 6 weeks you've gone? You've you've got it beaten. It's those first few weeks are the hardest. Um, they do, Dennis. They do actually drink water, technically, and the the dolphins will quite happily drink fresh water. So if you spray a hose in a dolphin's mouth, it will sit and go nom 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 until it's full up. But they can't tell the difference between a belly full of water and a belly full of fish. So they then won't eat. Yeah, same with manatees, Tom. Yeah. Hey Dan, how you doing? Yeah. So, and dolphins. Yeah, I know they're not fish; they're mammals. Um, and when the time comes, they're going to click at us. It'll mean so long and thanks for all the fish, and they'll take off vertically into the sky. And anyone who's not read or watched Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is going, "What the hell?" Oh, smoothies. Oh, smoothie. No, no. I I'm not that smart, Bob. I just stuff goes in and stays there, and then seemingly unrelated facts clash together, and then theories and knowledge arises. So if I didn't know better, Priscilla, I think you were trying to uh, slim down, maybe. Melvin is Storm Riders Aquatics, Alice. Yeah, it's rabbit food. Um, as I once saw a meme, it was a picture of a cow doing a big poop, and the caption was "Vegetarians, my food poops on your food. You don't need to slim down, Priscilla." I think I speak for probably most of the men in here. We prefer curves, curves and squidgy bits. They're the bits. That's what we like. We don't. We don't like stick thin, despite what fashion designers might have us think. Yeah, yeah. We like a good pair of headlights, Alice. Ah, yeah. I'll say it's as long as you're doing it for yourself, Priscilla. Exactly. There's nothing worse than snuggling up to someone and you got bones digging into you. Healthier is good. Just don't go getting all skinny. I mean, says the guy who once went on a diet and lost 4.5 stone in 4.5 months. But you know, then put most of it back on again afterwards. It's uh, it's not good to be like 36 and weigh less than when you left high school. And how they 3 stones. Who's stones? Yeah, sorry. Weight. Well, yes. We count weight in stones and pounds in the UK. So a stone is 14 pound. So 14.4 is 56. Is I lost, yeah, it was 63 pounds I lost in 14 weeks. I ended up down at considerably lower weight than I started. Let's put it that way. Hang on. What is? I could do the maths and work it out. Do you want me to work it out for you, Alice? Yeah, it was. Because I dieted hard. I was on less than 1,000 calories a day, and yes, basically, I kept it off for quite a while, but it just slowly comes back on, and then you get happy and comfortable, and yeah, you realise you didn't really enjoy eating what you were eating. So, what do we say? So, 63 pound. What's that in kilos? Is divided by 2.6. About 28 kilos, Alice, is what I lost. Yeah, it's your body gets used to being a certain size. I mean, I'm smaller than I was. I've not put all of it back on. I put some of it back on. I'm about what am I? I think I've put back on about a stone and a half. So about yeah, You definitely got my sympathies for that one, Priscilla. I can't live without chocolate. Yeah, I'm pretty much about 10 pounds heavier now than when I left school, so I'm kind of happy with that. Yeah, I say being that is the one upside of being ill. You do lose weight. Actually, I've not weighed myself this week, so given what happened last weekend, I'm probably a little lighter than I was. So I'm never going to be small. I mean, I'm fairly chunky, so So I've never had mono, and I don't think I want to have it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do. You don't care what people say. You shouldn't be that skinny. There shouldn't be a thigh gap, ladies. No, you don't, Alice. All that happens when you're skinny is you feel the cold more. Really not a good idea in Norway. Yeah, don't worry about it, Dennis. But my theory now is as long as I'm happy, I don't care. It's just a number. Doctor might go, "Oh, you're fat. You need to lose weight." And then I'll look at the doctor who's probably about twice the size I am. Uh, unhappily, that is a 200-litre fluval Roma planted community. So we've got guppies, platies, embertetras, harlequin or copper harlequin rasboras, crebensis, Pseudomugil furcatus, Bozemanii rainbow, bamboo shrimp, and a female bristlenose. I think that's it. Oh, and my one remaining neon. But I've had that neon up there. I've had that since I got my first tank last August. Not last August, August before last. It's a good tank. I can't complain about it. The filter does a good job. And the one that comes with it, Fluval U4. Yeah, August before last. So that's when I started. Oh, you beep. Yeah, that's a damn good deal. I say the only extra filter I've got in there now is the little, as Michael from Michael's Fish Room would say, the little China filter, the little box filter in the corner. Yeah, I mean, I think I paid $250 with the stand, something like that. Anyway, I mean, I got a really good deal. It was one of those where I was saving up to get one, and I was talking to the guy in the local Maidenhead Aquatics about it, and he said, "I'll sell you that one for $250." I went, "Done." They actually delivered it as well for 20 quid, but he delivered it that day. Like 2 hours later, I had it. So yeah, we got stratum substrate, 40 gallon, new out of the shop. Well, it's basically that. So just for a bare glass box, probably about 100-ish, something like that. So what's that, about $150? No, exchange rate's not that good at the moment. About $125, I think. I've not actually bought one, just a tank. I'll say that little one down there is a 6.6 litre, and the recommended retail on it is £60. I paid less than that because, again, it's from a display model. Last one we had, no one wanted to buy a white one. I thought, well, I want to stick it out of the way so no one will see it anyway. And yeah, the filter that came with it is now in the fry tub because it's not up to dealing with that. And I've got another filter the same as the one that's in there in the fry tub. Yeah, that is lucky. As you can probably tell from the size of things, I haven't got enough room for a 125 gallon tank. I mean, I'd love a 125 gallon tank. Hey, Big J. Yeah, I love 125. There's nowhere to put one that big. At the moment, I'm kind of, when I get a new job, yeah, it's about 500 litre Hadley. Yeah. I'm looking at trying to squeeze in, if once I'm working again and can afford one of the mega flexes, the 33 gallon flex. For which I would probably possibly put some cichlids in. No big ones, obviously, but yeah, something that would breed in there. Yeah, that's long term. Got other things I need to pay for before then. So I need to find a job first. So yes, all good. Wow. Was there anything anyone wanted to ask me? Has anyone thought of any underrated fish? Yeah, so that's. I don't think we can call a guppy underrated. An old style guppy, an original, wild type guppy, yes. But fancy guppies, no, they're if anything overrated. In my opinion, anyway. Do I keep any big fish? I don't. I think the biggest fish I've got are a couple of bristle noses and the Bozeman Eye rainbow that's trundling about in there somewhere. Hang on. Ching. Yeah, that is my biggest. It's like my biggest tank by far. Then I've got two of the. So that's a 40. Let's call it a 40 breeder. I've got two of the 15-gallon flexes, a 25 litre, which is a 6.6 gallon. I've got a 5 point something gallon and a 4 point something gallon, and then a 10-gallon grow out bucket. Yeah, so we've got my suggestions of the platies and the cribs. We've got the White Cloud Mountain minnows. Yeah, so it's just a size thing, Big J. Yeah, I've been thinking about pygmy cories. I was thinking about putting some in with Norman, the better. I think he'd enjoy the company, but the shrimp population in there is starting to explode, so perhaps not. Yeah, so it's just I have a small house. I can't have big tanks. Size matters. Yeah, well, the right size matters. It can be too small, it can be too big, or it can be just right. What are you, Priscilla? You're just right. I don't believe I just said that. Sorry. Oh dear. Oh yeah, rice fish. Yeah, those things are virtually bomb proof. Yeah, pretty little fish, easy to look after, virtually bomb proof. So that's what we're looking for with an underrated fish. Something that you get a lot of bang for your buck. Uh, yeah, I'm in a 2-bedroom house, but 1 bedroom is the modelling cave, and it's not very big house at all. But it's big enough for what I need. My girlfriend Mary, no, she's not a modeler. She doesn't build models. She does enjoy fish. She enjoys looking at them. She loves plecos. So yeah, it's not quite a 2 up 2 down, but it's kind of that way, Hadley. So it's a new build, 2 up 2 down. Well, 1980s build. You don't want to see the man cave, Alice. You really don't want. Anyone who's got OCD does not want to see the man cave. Let's put it that way. There is actually a video on my channel. I think it's the Rainy Day Bench and Cave Tour, I think it's called, which is a look around the man cave. Yeah. As I say, 25 litre, the 6.6 gallon. We've got Celestial Pearl Danios, Rams. It's planted. It's easy to look after. It's pretty. Now I can do a water change with a 2 litre jug and a piece of airline. You see, I don't have kids, so I'm allowed a man cave. I need a man cave, let's put it this way. I've lived on my own for so long that if I lived with someone, I would need a room that was lockable, that only I went in. Yeah. So I mean, I've got a pond in the back garden. It's quite a nice size for my size garden. My back garden, or backyard, as Americans would say, is 26 by 28 feet. Now, bearing in mind, I've got to have a patio, you know, somewhere to stand where you don't get wet feet. I've got my lawn, I've got my borders, all my plants. So having a 6 by 4 foot pond, which I think it works about 120 gallons. Yeah, well, on behalf of, as a former foster child, Dan, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I went through the foster system back in the 80s and 90s when it wasn't as nice a system as it is now. But yeah, thank you very much, Daniel. It is most appreciated and most needed. Yeah, we won't get into talking about my past, but let's just say from the ages of 11 to 18, I didn't enjoy myself. And that was back in the days when you left school, you got removed from care, or when you left college, you got removed from care, and it was like, bye, look after yourself for now. You're not getting anything more. Yeah. Well, it's not something you have to do, but on behalf of the young people that you're helping, thank you very much. I'm guessing the system is probably completely different in the States for fostering as it is in the UK, but the rules are considerably tighter now in the UK as well. So saves people going through what I had to go through. Yeah. It was, yeah. I mean, let me put it this way now. I don't want to upset or offend anyone, apart from my former foster parents, but I think they're probably dead by now anyway, thankfully. But I was put for my long-term placement with a family that were highly religious. Anything outside of what they deemed normal. No, so if it wasn't real, you weren't allowed it. Right. So you've got a kid that at the age of 11 loves Dungeons and Dragons, reads H.P. Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe, Stephen King, escapist stuff, fantasy, bit dark, yeah, maybe, but and you dump them into a family where all that is, no, you can't do any of that. You have to come to church with us. You have to believe in God. You have to do everything our way. Yeah, 11 to 18 was a nightmare. They basically wanted child slaves. That's what they wanted. But when I had my leaving care interview, I told social services exactly what had been happening. And I was their last foster child. Oh yeah, D&D, AD&D, Middle Earth role play. Yeah, I used to do all of them. I mean, anything like that, I had to hide things like, yeah, I'm with you on that, Alice. I mean, I haven't got a problem with anyone having their belief system, right? You can be Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, Sikh, Jedi, Wiccan, pagan. Doesn't matter, doesn't bother me. Whatever you choose to believe, you choose to believe. Okay? For whatever reason, whatever belief system you have works for you. Just don't try and force it on people who don't agree with it. Oh, Hadley. Yeah, it's yeah, the concept of it's all in your mind. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, when we used to play, we didn't have maps and miniatures. It was the games master or the dungeon master had the rule book, and you had a piece of paper which had your character on it, all handwritten, no pre-printed character sheets. You had your dice and you had a pencil and a rubber eraser, sorry, and that was it. That's all you needed, and an imagination and propensity for bad jokes. You find a fork in the road, I pick it up. That kind of. Oh, that cartoon was so far away from the actual role-play game. I hated that cartoon as a kid because it was just so wrong. Everything about it was wrong. I haven't got any of the D&D. I think I've got some second edition AD&D, and I think I've got first edition Middle Earth roleplay as well, still somewhere. It was yeah, a rubber in case I had to rub something out. Yes, Bob. Oh yeah, the like fighting fantasy, and the really bad ones are choose your own adventures. The ones where nothing bad ever happened. Oh, the Middle Earth one, the original one was awesome. I mean, it was just hilarious. I remember that if you did a critical fumble when you were trying to use a weapon, and one of them was you slip and stumble over an unseen imaginary deceased turtle and impale yourself on your spear. Your bow breaks catastrophically and the arrow shoots you in the eye. That kind of thing. Yeah, back in the days when these things had a sense of humour. The Call of Cthulhu one was really good as well. That was less about leveling up and more trying to keep your character from going insane. Yeah, it's all good fun. So the more I got pressed into you cannot escape reality, reality is all there is, the more I got pushed into that, the more I pulled away from it. Yeah, that kind of, yeah. A fish keeping role playing game would be quite amusing. A collectible card game would probably work well. Fish of the Coast, Tanks, The Gathering. No, not like Pokemon. Oh no. What, like Magic, proper one. Not one designed for small children. Yeah, yeah. It's a thing of mine where I don't do kiddie stuff, and Pokemon is kiddie stuff to me. I've not seen or read any of the Harry Potters. Yeah. Yeah. Because to me, Harry Potter is a children's book. No, I was reading things like Lord of the Rings when I was 8. And heck, I built my first model kit by the age of 6 on my own. It was, I didn't have friends. I might explain a bit as well. But we'd go on holiday, and I'd be miserable because I wasn't able to just sit in my room and read or build models or play with Lego or stuff like that. I don't like sitting on the beach making sandcastles. That's boring. I wanted to go to the rocky beaches with the rock pools and go find animals and stuff. Yeah, luckily I've never had to do the Power Rangers either. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, the first series, completely read. Probably the same here. Oh, yeah. See you later, Dennis. Yeah, you can't miss your dinner. Speaking of which, I haven't had anything either. Hobbit. Oh, bless. Hobbit's a kiddies book as well. Yep, 7:33 here. So yeah, I'm trying. I mean, so I was. Yeah, the Hobbit films were awful. That was one movie that got stretched into 3. It's got more than 100 pages. Yeah. Well, I was saying that. I mean, some of Lovecraft's stories are 1 page, and quite frankly, terrifying. Great fun to read. I mean, you can tell they're 100 years old now, by not just by the language and the structure, but some of the names of things. Let's just say it's a little bit racist. Let's see, comics. I was a 2000 AD guy. 2000 AD, Judge Dredd, Rogue Trooper, Conan the Barbarian, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So as I've got older, I've stopped reading comics. I just grew out of it, I guess. But I think it's just I can imagine what I imagine when I read something is generally completely different to what I see when it's put into a comic book form or a TV or movie form. Then, yeah, it's just a different thing, and I generally just always find them disappointing when they do that. Especially what Mark. Yeah, it's right. Should we have a look at this planaria trap and see if we've caught any of the little buggers yet? Let's have a look. See, there's not that many in there. There's only a few. Let's see if they're already in there. There's a few, but not worth taking it out. I'll say there's only a few planaria in there. It's shrimp, cherry shrimp to be precise, with Nerite snails and Malaysian trumpet snails. As I say, there's a few planaria in there. There's a couple in the trap, but I'll leave it in overnight. I think I did a video on it quite a while back. But yeah, that's how simple that trap is to put together, bait and use. You just take it out in the morning and pull the planaria out, and then pop it back in again until you stop catching them. So, did anyone else have any questions for me? Also, randomly, I've got an orange cherry shrimp turned up in with Norman in the better tank. It won't kill all of them. Yeah, see you later, Dan. Have fun, buddy. It will keep the numbers down good and low at the planaria. I'm not a huge fan of. No need to stop feeding the tank at all. As long as you use a fresh, bloody beef mince, fresher and bloodier the better, then they will just go for that rather than any shrimp food. And by having a nice small tube, a small diameter, it means shrimplets can't get in there either. Although I will check it to check there aren't any shrimplets in there, obviously, because we can accidentally catch shrimp every time I clear out the duckweed off the top, which is once a week. I have to do that in the sink. I use the water change water from usually this Flex that's sat here on with Danios, etc. in it. So I'll change a bucket full of water, 3 gallons, keep that bucket full, and then get the duckweed with the tea strainer, pop that into the bucket, pour the bucket into the sink with the plug in, catch out all the shrimplets and the shrimp that were in the duckweed, put them back in the tank, and then get rid of the water. That is pretty much the only water change water that goes down the sink. Because hey, we've all accidentally flushed or thrown away a small fish or shrimp without realizing it. And Zach, the cat, is not always around to keep an eye on the bucket when I do the water changes. It can be, but it's not such a big deal. I just clear it out once a week. To me, it pulls that much nitrate out of the water that it's worth it. I mean, you're doing your weekly tank maintenance. It doesn't take more than a couple of minutes. With, as I say, I use a little tea strainer and just pop it out. Job done. Yeah, it pays its rent. I mean, Salvinia is superb as well. Doesn't quite pull as much nitrate out of the water, but it is a lot easier to clear out. There is Salvinia in there as well. I'm gradually trying to get rid of the duckweed but leave the Salvinia. But that'll do the same over the course of a week. It will cover the surface of that tank. I'll pretty much just leave a fist size, sort of palm of the hand size area of duckweed when I do the water change on a Monday or a Tuesday. At the moment, by the end of the week, it's covered the surface of the tank. Yeah, so I just clear the excess out. And the same like the limnophilia in here, the tall stem plants, they get at least 6 inches chopped off them every week as well. And then they're back to the surface again within a week. Yes, there is some Shrimp King food up the top. Yeah, yes, Bob, I suppose I could put the duckweed in the pond for the, yeah, well, they eat it. Yeah, it disappears fairly rapidly whenever I put it in the tank. The only one they weren't a big fan of was the leaf mix, but whether that was just they weren't a fan of it, or the protein one disappears rapidly, the snow pops disappear rapidly. What other ones were in there? It's like 5 sample size packs. Oh, let's see, what do we get? We got the mineral ones vanished, the protein, the complete, and the snow pops vanish. But the leaf mix one, I mean, they still eat it, but it's not quite as disappearing at high speed. I did have some of Mark's nettle mix, and they loved that as well. I've got another one up there which I think is Hikari. And the other thing I do once in a while is I put the stick on like the Ceraonip tabs, but obviously Europe and UK we get the JBL version or the Tetra version, and the shrimp love those as well, as do the snails. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, surf and turf apparently does honk the house out a little bit. I mean, it's not as bad as Surströmming, but shrimp lollies. Tell you what I do, Mandy, is I have in here. This is just it's pot for algae wafers, but what is in there is spirulina powder. And what I do is I get one of the bamboo kebab skewers that have got the flat end on it, so in 2 or 3 inches is flattened out. I dip that in the tank water, dip it in here, and it gets covered in the spirulina powder, and just stand that in the tank, and it's basically a shrimp lolly. Disappears very rapidly. Yeah, and bamboo skewers, you just keep reusing it. I've got one around somewhere. I'll have a quick look, see if I've got one over there. Yep. That's the ones I use. So I just dip it in the tank to get it wet to there, dip that in the pot, and then pop it in the tank. Being bamboo, which sinks as well. Now, Bob Alice is definitely not treatable. She's beyond hope. So, what is Svinariba, or however it's pronounced then, Alice? What is in it? Oh. Google it. Thanks, Alice. Very helpful. I'll Google it later. You'll die. Has it got fruit or vegetables in it, Alice? Because if it has, then I may well die. Meat. Meat is good. And I'm not going to make any bad jokes about mouthfuls of meat. I'm just going to mention that there are bad jokes. I'm not going to make them. It's been, I think I spelled that right. Yep. Oh, pork belly. Ah. Let me see. Throwing out lots of nitrogen bubbles. Is it nitrogen, or is it just gas that's been, or air nitrogen, whatever that's trapped in the substrate? I've had that. Pork ribs, pork belly, same difference. It's yummy piggy goodness, especially if you've got the crackling on it. So it's not nitrogen bubbles. It's not something I've ever noticed before. I've had like air bubbles coming out of the substrate for a while until it settles down. I'm guessing you've got it all scaped and plumbed and sorted, because otherwise I might say just like mix it around a bit with your hand. It probably is just trapped air, as it were, trapped wind. Your tank's farting. That's what's happening. Yeah, fish spa. And I've got a bit of that going on in here at the moment. That's just because the plants are purling. There's lots of little oxygen bubbles coming up. There's two onwards. Yeah, so give it a little stir around and you might release some more. That's what I would have thought. Is Akadama is the soil. It's not the round balls like the stratum, is it? It's rougher and more edges and surfaces. So it will trap air, I would have thought. Yeah, so that would be my guess. I can't see it now having any kind of reaction and kicking out nitrogen. I mean, if anything, I would have thought possibly methane would be more likely. But yeah, as you say, we've only had it set up a little while, so it's not like it's rotting. Yeah, so this one here has got the JBL. It's basically lava rock, crushed lava rock substrate, and that had quite a lot of air trapped in it as well. Yeah, so I've not had it with the stratum or with sort of smoother gravels, but with the lava rock substrate in there, then I did get some of that. But so the flex has got quite a bit of flow in it, so yeah, that's what I would think. Is it's just trap wind, as it were. It'll eventually clear itself out. I wouldn't worry about it at all. So yeah, if the tank's not set up, planted, blah blah blah, then yeah, just give it a mix about. Right, so if nobody has any other questions for me, got to wait till Christmas for shrimp anyway. Yeah, that'll clear itself out for Christmas. Yeah, right, so I don't know about anyone else, but I need to eat something, because you might not be able to hear it, but I can hear my stomach grumbling away. So thanks everyone for turning up and sticking with me. Same time again next week. If you want to turn up, feel free. If you don't worry. It's not long now, Pam. Yeah, you got Joseph in a couple of hours. Have a quick nap, Pam, and you'll be fine. Or even do a bit more drawing or painting. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekends and your weeks, and I will catch you all in other live streams, no doubt, between now and next Sunday. But remember, have fun, enjoy your fish keeping or your modelling or whatever hobby you happen to have, or shrimp keeping. Peace out. Be excellent to each other. Rock on. Bye bye.